Hello, good morning. Welcome to Stamp and Chat. Today it's Tuesday the 20th of May. Time is just flying by so fast. So we are week 3 of Facebook Live. So I go live the first and the third Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock. So let us make sure we're where we should be. So this morning I'm going to be using the Cheers and Sips bundle. Gosh, I am as blind as a bat. Now it's getting awful. I mean, I've had my glasses, I've had my eyes tested recently and I've got new glasses, but they're good for close-up, which is what I needed them for. But at the distance that my MacBook is from me now, it's a struggle, we'll just say that. So this morning we are going to be creating, I've got one card layout, but I'm going to show you 3 different card designs using that layout and how they can all how you can use one design and make 3 different cards using it. So it's like one card in 3 ways. And we're going to be using the Cheers and Sips, which is from the online exclusive section of the website. And I've got a couple of some embossing folders. And I'm not using any of the new ink colours this morning. I used one on my last live, I do believe I did. Right, I'm going to set you down on my desk and let's get crafting. So bear with the palm of the hand. Oh, move everything out of the way. Now my stand has gone all crooked and hopefully it will let us zoom and get lined in. Wait for the catch-up, have a quick drink while I'm waiting. The birds are singing away down there. I think we are a little too zoomed in, aren't we? Let's go out a little bit. And you can see what's on my desk. Let's just wait for catch-up and I'll get this grid paper down. Because when the grid paper starts moving around, it's a bit of a nightmare. Oh gosh, sorry, I'm still faffing with the zoom. So, how are we all? Hoping somebody will join me live this morning. Usually get a couple of people dropping by for the live. Gosh, I'm all over the place with the zoom, aren't I? Okay, this is a really old sheet of grid paper. We have a new design. This is when grid paper was single-sided, and this is in centimetres, which I work in inches. For those of you that follow me, you will know that. So today we're using the Cheers and Sips. So I am not going to be using, I am going to be using the glasses in it, I think. But I think I'm going to be doing some fussy cutting out of the paper. Papers are gorgeous. And then I'm literally using the little dotty image from the Everyday You and Me, which is in our scrapbooking line. So those are the stamps. I've mounted mine up ready. I'm going to be using the Glass and Gardens embossing folders. And this one, I don't know if you can see this. There you go. This one is my absolute favourite. It's so beautiful. So we're using that. And then the dies that coordinate with the Cheers and Sips stamp set. I'll grab you some of the paper so you can have a little look at those. And then this one that I can't put down at the moment, I'm using the ovals on here. But I think I did share with you some of the other die cuts on my last live. I think that was when I made the box. So, colour combo of the day. We've got Berry Burst, Pretty in Pink, Soft Seafoam and Old Olive. And these are colours that I've been using. I'm using them today because they're kind of like a follow-on from my online classes. So you'll get to see these creations that will be similar to those that I'm offering for my online events and classes in the studio as well. So I can give you a quick show of those if I remember before we finish. So first of all, let us pull in my kit. If you are joining, please do say hello. It's always nice to know who's here. Let's grab some bits and pieces. So some of my favourite colours: soft seafoam, old olive, which was one of the very first colours I ever bought when I joined Stampin' Up. Let's see if we can straighten you up a little bit. And then let's show you those papers. I've really been chopping into mine, so they're in a bit of a pickle, but let's pull out some whole sheets. I think I might have shown you these before. I can't remember whether it was the one I went live in my community group. So we've got a variety of, we've got kind of two colourways. We've got like the purple colourways and then like the pink colourways. But we've got Fresh Freesia in here and Berry Burst. And this sheet I particularly love because like the reverse of this just goes so well with the florally side. It's really pretty. So we've got a new in colour here, Starry Sky. I have to now remind myself that that's what it's called. Secret Sea. Where did Starry Sky come from? It's all the S's. And we've got some images here, fruit things that you could put into your glasses. So this set, you have these like glasses, or you could use them as a vase, or you've got elements here that you could just cut out and pop in your cocktail of choice. We have got Cloud Cover, new in colour, and then we've got this pattern here, which I've been using to stamp the glasses over and cut out and use as like my drink inside the glass. And then we have this lovely like strawberry slush, which is a new in colour. And then this sheet, which is just brilliant. Look at all these opportunities for fussy cutting and creating quick cards with. And then the other two you have seen again. I think there is another sheet, or I'll just grab the other half of it. Actually, that one you didn't see. This is Berry Burst. And then a really valuable sheet of things that you can cut out, which I'm going to be using one of those today. And then the other sheet, which is my absolute favourite, and I've only got half of it left, is this one here. It's just so pretty. Really, really pretty. And the reverse is another new in colour called Timid Tiger. So, there's a few of you popping on. Good morning, Jill. How are you doing? Hi, Belle. You're just on your way out for your dog walk, but you'll catch up later. Thanks for stopping by. So, as I said, I've got one sketch for you today, and I'm going to show you it in 3 different ways. So, one card in 3 different ways. And the pieces that I've got here, I've got my base card, which measures 5 3/4 by 8 1/4. And we're just going to run our bone folder down the edge of that one. And that becomes the base of our card. And so the general pieces for each card are these. So, and then we've got 3 pieces that measure 3 3/4 by 1 5/8. Okay, so we've got 3 pieces exactly the same. And then I've got a piece here that I'm going to do some die cutting on. And then I've got 2 strips. My old olive strip measures 3.5 by 7/8, but it could be any depth, whatever you've got in your scraps. And then a little strip of the pattern paper that measures 3 1/4 by 1/2 inch. So this could be any depth as well. Just go to your scraps. I keep all of my DSP in these like poly wallets. And then all of my bits and pieces go into a separate bag inside so that they don't get lost. So you can grab any widths, always get left with different strips. And I always like to use those up. Me and pattern paper, we go well together, but in small doses. So I don't like lots of huge, heavy patterns on my cards and projects. I like the soft and subtle things. So let us start with a bit of die cutting. Shall we do a bit of stamping? Let's do some stamping first. Let's get stamping. Right, I'm going to bring in my mat because we're using photopolymer stamps. And from the set, I'm mounting up this one here, this one, and then this mint leaf, which we are pretending is not mint at all. Got a bit of scrap paper here, and then we'll need a couple of strips of scrap basic white. I might just zoom you in a little bit. I keep zooming you in and out, making you travel sick. And we're going to start off, we'll grab our Old Olive ink, and we'll want Berry Burst and Pretty in Pink for now. So we'll start with doing some foliage and some flowers. Got a bit of a banging headache this morning. That seems to be a regular thing. And my Old Olive could do with a bit of a re-ink. Can you see it's sort of gone pale in the middle? So I'm going to take ink from the outsides, and I'm going to do a couple of these because I've got a whole pot ready of bits that I've cut out. But isn't that lovely? Lovely foliage. Foliage goes a long way on a card for me. And then the minty one, oops, nearly put my finger in that. We'll have a couple of those for now. And then this could be kind of leafy as well, but I want to add a bit of colour to my stamping. So I'm going to let's do the Berry Burst there. And then I'm just going to clean that quickly. So I've still got this frog in my throat, and I've had a sore throat, and I've also been getting these headaches that kind of come and go. So whether I'm just got the end of something or the tail end of a bug, I don't know. I feel okay, apart from the normal tiredness. I'm always tired. Okay, there we go. So we've got, actually, is that the right colour? It's not Pretty in Pink I'm using. It should be Strawberry Slush. I'm thinking that looks a bit pale. Let me just switch that one out. And there's me thinking I wasn't using a new wing colour. We think we need that extra bit of pop. So let's just do another one of those. That extra bit of pop against the Berry Burst. We've got Strawberry Slush. You can just pop that one in there like that. And I think the ones in my pot are the right colour, which is good. Okay, so what I'm going to do is close these up for the moment, just in case I drop anything in. Hi Renee, how are you doing? Good evening to you. I hope all is well with you. Make sure we haven't got any ink on our fingers. So as we have the die set, we're going to trim these out. If you don't have dies for things, then good old-fashioned scissors are always an option. So I've got my base plate, plate number 2, and my bottom plate. I'm going to snip those off just for a minute. Grab some washi tape and some dies. And we want this one, the minty one, and that one. So we're having a nice little spell of dry weather here in the UK at the moment. The air is still chilly. The sun is hot. When it's out, the sun is hot. But if you're in the shade, I'm finding I'm a cold person. I just find it a little bit chilly. So yesterday was my Nana day with Luca. So I'm just taping all of these dies down so that they don't move when I run them through the machine. That one's going to be a bit close, so we will put this one on. Yes, yesterday was Nana day. Let's get another bit of washi. So I went over to pick Luca up, and we go and visit his great nanny, Jason's mum, on a Monday and take her lunch. So on the way there, I thought we'd go down to the canal. My mind's gone blank of what it's actually called. There's a cafe down there, and there's oh, why does my brain do this? And the more I try to think of it, the further away it goes. So let's just grab top plate. Yeah, so basically I took him down to the canal, and they've got a lovely area down there. They've got the Canal Heritage Centre, and they've got like a little harbour, and what it's actually called has gone totally out of my head. But basically you can walk along the canal, you can go over the walk bridges across to the other side of the canal. Let's just cut these out. And basically the sun was shining and it was lovely. Luca had a long sleeve on and trousers, and I had trousers on but a short sleeve t-shirt, and it was quite hot in the car. The sun was out, and then when we got out the wind was like really bitey, but I didn't have a jumper or anything for myself, so but we had a little wander, and when we got out of the wind it was absolutely beautiful. So yeah, there's a little cafe down there. It's in a little village that I grew up in, actually, called Saul, if you're from this area. And they've got a lovely cafe called The Stables. If you're local, you have probably been there because it's just lovely. They serve really nice food and cakes, and they've got sort of outside eating as well. So anyway, we had a good wander. We walked down alongside the canal. Luca loves to see the boats. Usually we go to the historic docks here in Gloucester, and he loves to see all of the boats there that are moored in the harbour. And he's also got a favourite yellow boat there at Gloucester that goes in and out of the dry dock. But yeah, there was a huge crane there, and he was super excited to see the crane, and it was lifting a boat out of the water. And he actually told me that they were going to put it in the dry dock before I even said anything about the dry dock. Bless him. And he's not even 3 yet. So yeah, the weather is nice, it's dry. We could do with a bit of overnight rain really, which I think tomorrow they have said we may have some rain, because the ground is so very dry, and I'm sure the farmers are crying out for a bit of rain at the moment, but hopefully that will come tomorrow. So yeah, weather is fair but still chilly. We're only sort of mid-May, aren't we? So we've got plenty of time for it to warm up. Right, that's the pretty and pink one we don't need now. So let's put these dies away. Get rid of that washi tape. So what have we been up to? What's everyone else been up to? We had quite a busy weekend. Excuse me. So you've got some elements cut out here. Yeah, we've been out, we've been gardening, food shopping. We went to watch Jack racing on Sunday. Been doing all sorts. We had Formula One as well. Getting the camper up together a bit. Okay, so let's just concentrate for a minute. I also need to do some embossing on 2 of these layers. So you remember we have the 3 layers. I'm going to emboss with 2 of them, but I also need to do some die cutting. So let's bring that plate back in. Got all our layers in here, and I'm just going to take from the Impressions of Bloom set, I'm just going to take this lovely oval here. Going to tape it down as well, and I'm not going to cut the whole thing because I don't need the whole thing, I just want part of it. So I'm just going to line it in, get that top plate on, and just run that through. I've been using this oval shape so much. I need to actually break out with, I haven't used these dies at all. Are we a bit close? I haven't used these, nor these flower stems I haven't used. I've used these tiny little dainty flowers, but haven't actually done anything with those yet. Let's just make sure we're not too close. I keep zooming in and out. And then on these two here, I'm going to run these through so that they're fully covered. So we'll bring the cutting plate back in, but we're going to take out plate number 2 because these are the thinner embossing folders, so we don't need the grey plate and all of the layers. So all we do with this one, if I can get hold of it, is we just make a sandwich. So we put our bottom plate down. Let's grab the top one. We put our embossing folder in the middle with the fold going into the machine first, and then top plate on the top. And we just run that through, and we just get the most gorgeous effect from this one. I love the reverse too, and in fact I think on the next card I'm going to use the reverse. It's really pretty. So this is an online exclusive. I need to do the same to the second piece, and then the third piece we're going to leave blank. So I'll just run that one through. Put all the layers back ready for die cutting. And then we just grab that one out. Like that. So we've got 2 that are embossed and 1 that's plain. Right, let's put those to one side. Right, our partial oval even, I'm going to take back a scrap of paper. I've pulled out my blending brush. I am going to just zoom a little bit. I feel like we're really close in. And then I'm going to use soft sea foam just to add a bit of colour to this panel. So make sure there's nothing, I haven't used for a darker ink. So I'm just going to pick up some ink in a circular motion. We're going to start off on our grid paper and then work on to our basic white oval, and just gently add the first bit of colour. And that's very, very subtle, so we're going to pick up a bit more colour, take a bit off, and then work back onto our oval. And you can just build this up as much as you want. I think that's probably enough. Okay, you probably cannot see that, but if I hold that against the white, you can see we've just given a nice subtle bit of colour to it. So what we want to do next is build up our card, and I'm going to start with our panels. So each of our cards will have these 3 panels exactly the same. So the way I like to do it, let's make sure I am in shot because I keep zooming in and out and losing my position, is I'm going to start with the first one, stick one down at the top, one of the patterned ones, and I'm going to leave an even border all the way around the edge. Let's grab my Tombow. So just glue, oops, on the back. There's quite a lot. And then I'll pop it down just so that we've got a nice even border. Can you see that? I can wiggle that around if it's not straight. All the way around. Like that. And then we're going to put the bottom one in. Now the bottom one is going to be the plain one. So Tombow on the back. Talking of backs, mine is achy. It's been really achy lately. There we go. So we've got the same distance around those edges, and then we've got the gap left in the middle, so we can just make sure that that one goes in there centrally. So we'll do that, and I'm making sure that I'm using the same side of the embossed layer as I did previously. So we just pop that one down. Like that. So we've got our 3 layers all down onto our base. How pretty is that? I had a little event here last night and I was chatting about, you know, all the things you can do with an embossing folder. You know, you can add colour to your embossing folder before you run it through your machine. In fact, I need to try that with this one because it would be so pretty. Then what we're going to do is add a little, let's add some splats to this. Shall we add splats to it first? I'm going to put them in after. I'm going to be brave. So we're going to pop some glue on the back of here. You could use a dimensional if you want to, but I'm already adding quite a bit of dimension to this card. So I'm going to pop it down just so that the top of the oval overlaps onto that top panel. And we want it to be kind of even left to right, so it needs to be central and as square as we can. The bottom may not be too square if I haven't cut this too straight. I think that is about okay. Some glue off my fingers. And then we've got our 2 strips. We've got our old olive strip that we're going to lay down next, just over the bottom of that oval. Right there. And then in with the pattern paper. So have any of you been working out on your gardens this weekend? I did a little bit of digging. I managed to get my runner bean plants in, but I am a bit worried about them. They are looking a little bit browny yellow. The thing is, the ground has been so dry, and I have been giving them a good water, but I'm hoping they'll take. So we've just layered both of those in over the bottom of that oval panel. Morning, my lovely. How are you doing, Helen? I hope you're doing okay, my sweet. You've been in my thoughts very much of late. So we've got our bits and pieces here. I do need, I can put that one away. Look at this lovely pot of goodness. So I've got some here that are slightly dodgily cut. That one's got quite a lot of white space around it, but to be honest, once it's on this background you won't really notice it. But just because I've got plenty, I'm going to use another one. So I like to add a bit of life to these. So we're just using the cheers and sips, Helen, creating like flowery foliage with them rather than the standard, until we get to the final project, that is. So all 3 of these, we're just going to add a mini dimensional to the top. Oop. And we might have to do a little bit of trimming of some of them. And we're just going to place them in so that we've got like a bit of a, kind of like a florally arrangement going on. Put one down there. Might be able to tuck that one in a little bit. Yeah, that will work. We won't have to trim it, we'll just tuck it in. Let's go over a little bit. Okay, so we've got the foliage just placed in there. Oh, that's good. You've got the week off. Bless your heart. Crafty therapy is good for the mind and soul, isn't it? We all know that. So next we'll pop in these flowers. and I like to put a bit of dimension behind them. So let's see what we've got. These are the edgy offcuts. So let's cut that one in half. I've already trimmed out. I've got two very thin pieces. So I'm going to pop that at the top. Oops, that one's stuck to me. And we'll put the strawberry slush one in. I want it to go just behind that flower, that leaf even. Oh, it keeps moving. I want it to go over a bit. That'll be okay. I might trim just a little bit off of the end of here. And I'm going to pop that one in kind of just below it, like that. And we'll add that one in after. I'm going to do a sentiment. Let's do a little greeting. I've mounted up It's Your Day, and that kind of covers lots of bases, doesn't it? It's a very small, skinny greeting. I've got some strips here. Let's grab our mat back and then we can see what we're doing. And I'm going to use Berry Burst. I'm going to have that one out too. Or shall I use Strawberry Slush and see how different it looks? Yes, because on my original I've used Berry Burst, so I've got ink on there. So we'll just ink that one up. Yeah, we did miss you on Thursday, my lovely. Oh, I touched it then, so that might be a bit crooked. Let's try the other side. Stampin' Up's cardstock is amazing because it has two sides. So you've got the emergency side. That one looks wonky as well. Can we get away with that, do we think? Yeah, let's be brave. To be frank, either are okay. That one. Let's go with that one. Snip off the ends. Just level it up so we've got the same either side. My back is definitely talking to me today. It's probably from the digging that I was doing on Saturday down in my vegetable garden. It's just relentless. Honestly, it's quite demoralising. When the ground is so hard, it really is. It makes you just want to give up. So I've been just trying to do a bit by bit, a bit at a time, and then it's not too back-breaking. Right, we're going to pop our little It's Your Day just in there. It's just hiding that stem. And then this one here, we'll just give that one a curl. Mini dimensional behind there. And we're going to pop that one just over this side, like that. I might just move that one across a little bit. Lift it gently. Stuck to that bit. And make it straight. And there we go. So we've just got It's Your Day. And then to finish with the soft seafoam, we have to be really gentle and really careful because our card is finished. And I might add a little bow in here as well. I'm just going to tap really gently with the little dotty stamp and just carefully, because we've got an embossed layer behind here, just add a little bit of something to the plainness of the background, like that. And we could add, where's my white ribbon I was using? Let's see how a little bow looks. We were tying bows on our card last night here. Just a teeny weeny one. My nails are not in a good place at the moment. I am working on them, as per always. Let's pull that tight. I'm hoping this ribbon is current. I'm thinking it is because I didn't buy it that long ago. I want to say it's an online exclusive as well. It's called... what is it actually called? Lint ribbon, white. Yeah, we better look that one up. I have got my website open, so I could just do a little search. Just snip off the tails. My fringe is really bugging me at the minute because it keeps falling down and tickling my nose. So we could put a little bow in there. If we wanted, let's get rid of that. Let's make it a little bit shorter. Don't know if it's just a bit too much. What do we think? To bow or not to bow? I mean, bows of choice for me usually are linen thread. I love a linen thread bow. I'll put it down. We can always pull it off if we hate it. Right, just grab a glue dot. Glue dots are very sticky at the minute because it's warm. So I'm just going to roll that one up. Pick it up on the end of my scissors. Pop it on the back of my bow. Maybe just pop it down there, like that. So it's just kind of balanced it out a bit. I didn't want to add too much more foliage. I'm even tempted to cut that one back a little bit and have it a little bit shorter. But that is the first card, so let's get rid of that. That's my first design. Here's one without bow, which I'm not sure I prefer. Anyway, let's move on to the second design, which is the same but different. So exactly the same pieces. Put everything back where it belongs. So we've got the same card base, 8 1/4 by 5 3/4. We've got fluff stuck to our nails from the ribbon. Let's fold that one in half. Oops. The way to get a good precise fold is to get the corners together, push down firmly here, and then pull your bone folder up, and then those edges will stay together as you crease your card. Then I have pre-cut another partial piece of the oval. We've got 3 panels, again exactly the same, measuring 3 3/4 by 1 5/8. I have already embossed one of them. I'm going to emboss the other 2. And we're going to use bits and pieces out of my pot so that you don't have to watch me stamp and die cut those out again. So what we're going to do this time is turn our card so it's in landscape mode. I'm going to take our little oval and the soft seafoam ink and do exactly the same. Just going to add in some subtle colour around the edges, as much or as little as you like. You could be really creative and and have like an ombre effect going. You could use old olive at the bottom. That should do. Okay, so we've just added a soft shimmer of colour. And let us do some embossing on these. So with these two end panels, I was going to do some partial embossing. So I was going to pop it in and do like just a corner part of it. Not all of it, just some of it. And when we do this, we have to be careful. I wonder if we could be clever. No, let's not be clever because it will go wrong. And do two together. So I'm just going to run that through my machine like that. Making sure it doesn't move or go anywhere. And making sure that bit of cardstock doesn't hang over the edge of the cutting plate. Oh, I need to take out my... I've got too many layers. I need to take out that number 2 plate. That's why it won't go through. That's better. So, we've got one like that. And... you see I'm just like doing the corner, but we have to be careful when we put this on here that this isn't hanging over the edge of your cutting plate, otherwise it's going to move it and it will crunch it up even. So let's just run that through. And there we go. And then what I'm going to do, look at the reverse, it's lovely. So what I'm going to do is pop them down on here so that we've got a complete centre panel of embossing, and then we've got the two, oh, we haven't got an opposite corner. I didn't plan that very well, did I? I needed to think a bit about that, but that's totally fine. Will it work that way? Might work. It doesn't work. It doesn't make any difference which way you do it, really. Really, in an ideal world, it should have been over this bottom corner, but my brain didn't think about that. And it's kind of going to be hidden. So I think if we do it that way and that way, no. Let's do it that way and that way. It'll be fine. What I might do is just run that corner through so that that bit's embossed as well. But we need the reverse. So my brain, that's the indenty bit. I'm just going to run it through with that bit there, like that. So I'm just going to run that corner through really quickly. And I hope that my brain has thought that through properly. I should have made a marker on it before I started which side I needed to run it through on. So we've got a reverse and a right way round, which is fine. Do you know what? Now I've totally confused myself. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cut myself another piece like that. Let's grab a scrap. That's roughly the same. And we'll start again. 1 5, 3 3/4. Right, my aim is to have embossing down in this corner. So that is going to push it that way, that is going to push it out that way. And my brain is trying to figure out which side. You're probably all laughing your pants off at me now if I do it that way, it's going to be indented. I think this is right. So I'm putting it in so that the back of the embossing folder is going to do that corner. It just needs to be the reverse, doesn't it, basically? And my brain isn't in gear to engage that. I've still done it wrong. Never mind. Let's go with it the opposite way. That is fine. Okay, what we need to do next, we're not even going to go down that road anymore, is we can stick these straight down. So we'll do what we did last time, and we'll do one end first. Are you all laughing at me? I hope you are, because I do like to make you giggle. You know, because you're looking at the embossing folder and you know that it's going to emboss one side and deboss the other, but my poor brain is just not into thinking which way I need to put the paper in to get the right piece and the right side of the piece to work. Never mind. So I'm just popping these down with a nice even border. All the way around. That one looks a little bit crooked. I need to grab a drink as well. Okay, so we've just put our two outer pieces in first. Make sure that's stuck. And then the centre piece. When you're putting down embossed layers, make sure you've got plenty of glue on it, because obviously you've got raised surface areas on here, and your glue may not, you know, be on those raised areas. So make sure you put enough on and make sure that it's stuck down, it's not going anywhere. You're only having just a little chuckle, my lovely. I'm feeling validated because you'd be thinking the same, yeah. You know that whole thing of like, when you look at the folder, so you've got the outy bit on the one side and the inny bit on the other, and my brain just won't engage as to, I basically wanted to have the like the debossed part on that corner of my paper, and my brain just wasn't letting me figure it out. It will bug me because when I finish the live, I'll have to go and fathom it out. Right, next we're going to pop down our little oval piece. So glue on there. And we'll have it about just 7/8 of an inch from the top. Not quite an inch. Maybe that is an inch. It's not an inch, no, it's not even 3/4. It looks more like that. So we just lay that one down. Then our piece of old olive this time, is it the same as before? I think it's larger because we're going landscape. It measures 4 inches by 7/8. And our pattern paper is 3 5/8 by 1/2 an inch. So we'll pop down. In fact, my old olive piece went underneath here. We can still get that in. So maybe put your old olive piece down first, for this reason of where we're just having it tucked under like that. Tombow gives us some wiggle room. We're looking at these areas here to make sure that it's central and that it's straight. Take our strip of pattern paper. It's always difficult with pattern paper, isn't it? Because we never want to chop one of the sides. That's it, we're just covering over the bottom of that oval. Stick that one down. And then we're going to do exactly the same with our foliage like we did before. So on this one, I'll have a couple of those. a couple of those and one each of the berry burst and the strawberry slush flowers. Hi Kerry, how are you doing? You're going to watch the replay. Lovely. Thank you for stopping by. Hope you're doing well. Hope you enjoy. So today I'm using like one sketch and creating 3 different designs. So like one card, 3 ways, and just giving you a bit of inspiration on the Cheers and Sips bundle, which is kind of like a, you know, it's like a drinks stamp set, but I believe there is just so much more you can do with all of the elements that are within. So got those ready to go on. Let's find some dimensionals. I'm probably gonna have to chop some of these down a little bit. One behind each one. And then where's my skinny strip? For my edgy piece, we'll just cut a couple of very slim slithers and pop them behind the flowery images, like that. And I always like to start, because I've done quite a few designs with this. I'll run through with you after what else I've got going on. But I always like to start off with my fern on the right hand side and kind of build up from there. So I'm going to try and wedge that down under the paper a little bit. So we'll have one over there on the right. We'll put a strawberry slush flower kind of in the centre. So it's quite tall. And then we'll pop the berry burst one in next door to it, in between. Let's move that one over a little bit. Tuck it in into that DSP. That one in next door to it. Right, I am going to take the end off of that one, just so that it will tuck down in a little further, because flowers grow at all different heights, don't they? Okay, so I'm just popping those in. And then we'll have one of the other leaves, which I believe is supposed to be a mint leaf. I've got some lovely mint growing just outside of my snug area. It's coming to life. And then we're going to add in this piece of foliage. I will snip this off. So I've just literally cut off at an angle. I can't even see what I'm supposed to be doing. Would help. And then we'll just have another one kind of coming down at the bottom to balance it all out. Let's go up a little bit. And then another one of the minty ones. If you've got other flowers, you could add other flowers in here. But I wanted to try and keep it to mainly the elements that were in the set. I mean, you could use all the fruits if you wanted to, and do something very zesty. And then we just need to add in our sentiment. I haven't got a strip here. Let's have a look what's in my bag. And I think I wasn't using one out of this set. Let me just grab my other set I've been using. And that's the Pattern of Friendship. I love this one. I think I just love the style of the fonts. I love that we've got the Bestie one in here. And I thought I would use Let's Keep in Touch, because it's a perfect excuse to send something out to someone, maybe who you've not seen for a little bit, or just as a reminder, you've met up with a friend and then you just want to send them a little hug in the post. Looking for quite a skinny strip, that one there. Just send them a little hug in the post, and just a little reminder that, you know, let's not leave it too long until we go out again. So let's make sure that is straight actually. Looks a bit crooked to me. Oops. Right, the best way to do it is put your stamp down and put it on a line and then pick it up. So I met with a friend on Friday. We've been friends for a very long time. We used to live in the same village, and then I moved out here 7.5 years ago, and we've still kept in touch. We don't see as much of each other as we used to, but we've still kept in touch. And we went out to, she booked some tickets and we went over to the Malvern Quilt Show. So to have a little wander, we had a coffee and a good old catch up. We did a little workshop as well, which was nice. And something like this in the post when you've met with someone maybe who you don't see that often, it's just a little reminder. And how much do we all know that a card in the post is definitely like having a little hug, isn't it? Right, let's trim off some skinny bits of dimensional to put this one down. Birds are singing away out there. It's lovely. Oop. And then we're going to pop that one down right the way across the middle to hide all the joins of where the foliage is coming in. And then to finish, that tiny little dotty one. And remember, when you're doing finishing touches like this, do be careful, because if you drop or put a smudge, then you're going to have to fill it with something. And from the set that I'm using with the ovals, the Impressions of Bloom, you've got these lovely little flowers, which are great for when you have those little accidents. You make a little smudge or you have a little wobble, then you can cover it over with a little flower or a butterfly, something like that. So there we go, just really fresh. Yeah, you're right, Helen. We all love a bit of happy mail, don't we? On my original, I did the berry burst wording. And that's how I wanted originally for it to look, for embossed over here, embossed down here, and the centre panel embossed. And I did get that effect, to be fair, and it didn't hide too much of it. I was worried that this layer was going to cover most of it, but it didn't. It worked. So all was well in the end. I've got one final card to show you, again using the same elements, the same measurements. I have thrown in a bit of pattern paper on this one, and we are going to do a little bit of fussy cutting. I can see that I'm missing a little bit of pattern paper as well, so let me just grab that. And we can trim it to size. So I adore this one. I think it looks lovely with Old Olive. It looks lovely obviously with all of the colours that are in there. But I just thought it would give a little pop to my card. So let's fold our base. Oh, I'm getting in a pickle. I've got lots of bits out. Now, I don't know about you. Our card is definitely the same on both sides, but I always feel like there's an edge. And when I go to fold it in half, I feel like it needs to go the other way, like there is an actual edge to it, but that's probably just me. I don't know if anyone else has that thought. Let's get rid of these sticky parts from my Tombow. So we've got our card base. Again, we're going to go landscape on this one. Thank you, Helen, my lovely. And we've got our 3 panels once again. But now I've added some coordinating pattern paper. This is from the, I want to say birthday celebrations, but I know that's not what it's called. It is called, oh, it's not called that. I've put that back in the wrong packet. It's not called Happy Forest. Now I can't find it. Anyway, it's the really pretty one. I've got a brand new one here. Wildflower Birthday. So it's the one that's got all the beautiful die cut elements in there. And cut out elements. So let's just pull that out. So it's got these beautiful pieces in, and then the die cut pieces as well, laser cut, however they're cut. And then I've cut these at 1 3/8 by 3.5, and we're going to just mount them on top like that. So we can stick all of those together in a minute. We've got our old olive strip as we had before. This time we are slightly longer at 4 1/4 by 7/8. And then we're going to have a piece of pattern paper at about 4 inches. So let's just cut that there. We've got another piece left there that's big enough to do another card with. Right, so on this one, the only elements that I need are one of those and a berry burst flower. And I am going to start with just running this one through my machine with the embossing folder. So it's called Glass and Gardens. You can see it there. You can see the code if you're shopping online. It's an online exclusive that has just launched. So many lovely things that have just launched in the online exclusives. Right, I'm going to run that through with my top plate on. Don't forget also we have our join offer this month. So if you've got a long wish list of things, you've been thinking about maybe joining, now is the time. You get around, I think it's 171 maybe pounds worth of products for just £99. So it's a really good opportunity. So that's our oval. We're not adding any colour to that one. What should we do next? Let's put it together. Let's start sticking it together. So our layers, we're just going to, a little window popping up on my page then. I mean, it's kind of sacrilege covering over this side, but if you love soft seafoam as much as me, you won't mind. And you get 2 sheets in a pack. Remember that when you buy our pattern paper, you get 2 of each design. So let's just mount those so they're nice and even. Like that. Nice even border all the way around. Make sure they're stuck. So super easy to do. All the 3 cards have got the same elements, so once you've got that initial measurement, you know exactly what you're doing. And then we're going to pop these 3 onto our card base just like we've done before. Wildflower Birthday, yes, thank you, Helen. Honestly, the names are just, my brain just doesn't absorb anything unless, if it's a product that I'm using all of the time, then it sinks in, but it's like out of sight, out of mind and gone. So again, we'll do our end panels first. Pop those down. And then the centre one. Right, I've got a larger gap in the middle, but that was a bit crooked. Move it over a little bit. Once we've got our panel on, we're not going to be too looking at everything else. And then we're going to take our 2 strips of cardstock like we've done before. We'll pop our Old Olive one down first. So I'm going to pop that one down at the bottom. Bit of Tombow on me. And we'll just pop it centrally, just about 1/4 of an inch up from the bottom of that DSP. So we're just looking that it's straight and looking that we've got a nice even amount of overhang on each side. And then next I'm going to put in my oval. So plenty of glue in the middle. And we're going to have that one just so it's just down from the top. Again, we're watching the sides to make sure that it's even. Give it a good press down. Hello Shaz, how are you doing? Are you getting ready for bed, my lovely? I've been struggling at night time lately. I've been struggling in the mornings. I'm waking up. I'm in that zone. Just grab a drink. Of waking any time between like 3 and 5. Some days I'm wide awake at that point. Some days I do nod back off. And our alarm goes off at 6 every morning anyway. But night time, I'm falling asleep at like 9 o'clock. By the time we sit down, we've done everything. I'm just like bushwhacked. Right, I'm just looking, and on my original, I have actually raised this layer on dimensionals, but that's totally fine. I can do the rest of it on dimensionals if I want to. So, I'm not paying attention, am I? To be fair, it didn't need to be that extra layer. Right, we're just going to pop down our beautiful piece of pattern paper. Down at the bottom, just covering the bottom of that oval. Move it over a bit. And then on this one, I'm going to grab the pattern of friendship again. And we're going to pull out thanks for being the best. Another block out of my drawer. Grab our little foamy mat. I'm going to have that scrap there. I need a bit of scrap paper as well to start with. And we're going to use Old Olive. Let's just do up that one. Oh, you've just driven down to Brisbane for Barry's treatment. Oh, I hope everything goes okay, my lovely. Bless you. There's always something going on in life, isn't there? Right, so what I've done, I've got a skinny strip. Sending you hugs. And I've just inked up. I don't know whether you saw that. That's a bit low, but... See if we got, oh, we've got another scrap here. All these bits are scraps that are hanging around. So basically, what I'm doing is just inking the word thanks for being. So I'm hovering it right on the edge, hoping you can see that, so that I've literally just got ink on that bit. And that might be slightly more. Oh, that is as crooked as anything. It moved. Emergency side. Right, 3rd time lucky, guys. Wish me luck. Alf is just coming up now. That's better. I mean, look how crooked that one was. That would be well out of my comfort zone. That one's much better. And I've got Tombow on me. Hi, mate. Where have you been? Oh, bless him. He's wagging his tail at me. Have you been down to see the birds in the garden? he just comes and goes as he pleases. To be honest, he does spend a lot of time either by my feet or on his bed. He goes off and has a little wander and a sniff now and then. Right, so I've just snipped that into 2 separate sections. So we've got thanks for being. And then now we want to have the best. So let's grab another scrap. We can ink up the whole thing this time. Such a nice greeting. So this set is also an online exclusive. It's just £17. It's got some really nice words in there. Look at this one. Love that. So how long are you there for, Shaz? And how long a drive is that for you? Is it quite a trek? My dad had to go into hospital yesterday and have a kidney stent and a kidney stone removed. Right, what I'm going to do is just chop that off. We might be able to salvage that for something else. And then I'm just going to fussy cut, which I've made my life difficult by chopping that bit off, because we've got a very small edge at the top to work with. So scissors are closing as I turn the paper. That one's going to be the trickiest edge. So just roughly trimming. Right, I know someone's commented because I can see it in my peripheral on my phone, but I can't look and cut. Otherwise we're going to have half a word, which won't be good. We'll have to stamp it again. So I'm just roughly cutting around. It's nothing precise. Just kind of going wibbly wobbly. Straighten it out. Okay. And it's going against a white layer as well. So we've got some elements over here to go in. The other thing I need... Oh, you've been crafting with Susan, your upline, and her class attendees. How lovely. So is she in Brisbane then, Shaz? Right. Next. I'm going to trim out one of these. Now, I think I'm going to stick with the same one that I did originally, which was this one. But this colour would look quite nice because I've now added in this paper. Or we could just go with the orange. Let's stick with the original plan. 7.5 hours, that's quite a long way. You broke it up. And you're there till Friday, right? So you're there for a few days. So what I'm going to do is just snip into here. When you've got a sheet like this, you just have to kind of let the other side go and not worry about it. And as I've said, you get 2 sheets of each design in a pack. So you've got the other sheet if you love the reverse. Sorry, I'm trying to cut and not doing a very good job of you being able to see. So we're just going to trim around this one, leave a tiny little white gap. Like Jay and I we travel for his racing and stuff, not too far. Some of his races, obviously the European ones, are a long way away. But like for us to drive for 4 hours, that's not far for us really. You know, some people will be like, oh gosh, that's such a long way, but to us it's not. And I guess if you're used to driving distances, then it doesn't seem far. Just trimming around the edge. Stay close to the line of that glass. Round off the edges, and then we've got this gorgeous ready-made. It looks like a mojito, doesn't it? Because it's got lime and mint in it and lots of ice. And for those of you that don't do cocktails, of course, we have mocktails. Let's just curl all of these around. Pop some dimensionals behind. How are we doing for time? Not too bad. And then we can pop that one down. Over on the right hand side, can you see what I'm doing? Yeah. So I'm just sitting it on that bar there of pattern paper. Then we're going to add in the foliage and the flower. And we're just going to pop it like at the bottom of the glass. Might just trim that little end off a little bit. Tuck that under, just so that it's just like popping out a little bit. You can create this look with the stamps because you have this one. You have the ice cubes, so you could do like a watercoloured effect or use your brushes. It's very sweet though, isn't it? And then we're just going to pop in our thanks for being the best. We'll use up these skinny bits. Oh, if I got one on each side, which one's the better one? That one's central. Tombow all over my fingers. Done it again, haven't I? That one's the better side. And then a couple on this one. Just see if we get another one out of there. Take off the backs. A little bit fiddly because they're like little skinny strips, but oh, there's a fly in the light now. And we'll start with the best because we're going to pop that one down at the bottom, just overlapping. Oh, that's the postman. It's the only time when Alfie barks if he thinks someone's coming or he's startled. He's going to come and tell me now. It's literally the postman putting something in the green box. And just the noise of it, he's like, who's out there? Because he can't see because we've got electric gates. I'm surprised he hasn't come to tell me, like, there's someone outside. Here he comes. What is it, Alfie? He's just stood down the other end of the studio staring at me. Like, someone's been. There's a parcel in the box. It could be my Stampin' Up delivery, actually, and that is due. That would be nice. And there we go. So thanks for being the best. And quite honestly, there are so many people I could send this to. And I know sometimes when you look at a stamp set, you think some things are just like, why did they put that in the words? But there are the odd occasions when these words become super, super handy. Okay, so we started off with this layout design. We moved on. We turned it landscape to create this design. And then whilst we were in landscape mode, we switched up the panels. Rather than embossing, we added pattern paper and we used some elements from the DSP as well. So a good way of thinking about when you create something, I'll show you my original one on this one because it does kind of pop a little bit more. I do wish I'd remembered to layer that up. but it's got a lot of substance to it, that one, lots of layers. It's definitely my style, isn't it? Layers. So yeah, absolutely love it. Thank you, Kathleen. How are you doing? You didn't get the set, but you like the colours and the design. Thank you. Yeah, definitely. That's why I am here. I am here to inspire you. You know, take this layout, take my measurements, cut a kit for yourself, and use something else that you've got. Anything. What's on your desk? Like this one is on my desk. This would work lovely with, let's grab a card from over here. When you've got a little idea in your head or a layout, so similar colours here, but we've got Petunia Pop and Bubble Bath and some Crumb Cake. But you could quite easily use this little cluster on here. You could use totally different colours and it would look like a completely different card. You haven't had to reinvent the wheel or spend an hour pushing bits and pieces around on your table. You've kind of got everything. A good idea there, ready to go. So let's show you some other bits and pieces that I've got. So I don't know if I showed you this last time I was working on these. This is coming as a PDF for this month's online classes. So this is where all these ideas have stemmed from. So we've got the extra large box that I did. Do you remember this one that I'd recreated from a gift from a teamie? So I've upsized that and it's made a much larger box. I need to sort my bow. It's looking a bit upside down. And then we've got this lovely fold. So that's coming as a PDF. And then we have, where are my other cards? I've got a lot of cards here together. I've got 4 cards here. Oh, this is one that I shared in my community group for my monthly challenge. So it's, you can see it's the same design. I'm using the same elements and just creating away with it. And then we also have some cards that are coming for classes next month using this set. Look at the papers. And then we've got another 3D gift box as well. So this one's just got a slide out with a sweet treat in. So that's a PDF that's going to be available. I don't know if that one's actually up. I need to check that. I don't know if I filmed it. I don't think I have. So if not, I've got a lot of filming to get done. Hopefully I'll try and get some done today. So thank you for those who have joined me today. Don't forget, we have a brand new catalogue that has gone live. And we have new online exclusives. So if you've got any questions about anything, get in touch. You can head to my website at kerrytimms.co.uk. You can read my blog. You can head to my shop from there. You can head to my tutorials section, my PDF section, and you'll find that all from kerrytimms.co.uk. If you've got any questions about shopping online now with our new rewards, please get in touch and I will help you if you need a bit of guidance. So thank you once again for joining me. Thank you for your lovely comments. I hope you're all going to enjoy the rest of your day, or if you're heading off to bed shortly, then have a good night's rest. And I'll be back with you all very soon. So bye for now.